Welcome back to my series of lectures on special theory of relativity. In this seventh video, I will be discussing the relativistic kinetic energy and mass energy relation. As a final step in the deduction from the postulates of special relativity, an important and universal relation between mass and energy, which is unknown in classical physics, will also be obtained. To begin with, let's calculate the relativistic expression for the kinetic energy of a. Consider a body initially at rest. Let its rest mass be m0. Let a constant force F act on it along the positive x direction and displace it through dx. Then the work done by this constant force will be dw equal to F dx. In the absence of any other force, this work done increases the kinetic energy of the body, and let the increase in kinetic energy be dEk. Hence, we may write dEk equal to F dx. Since F is equal to d by dt of mv, we may write dEk equal to d by dt of mv times dx. Recalling that mass is a function of speed or velocity, when you differentiate mv with respect to dt, we get m dv by dt plus v dm by dt times dx. Now, if v is the final velocity of the body, we may write dEk equal to mv dv plus v squared dm, which is equation 1. Now consider the equation m is equal to m0 by square root of 1 minus v squared by c squared. Squaring both sides and cross multiplying, we obtain m squared times c squared minus v squared equals m0 squared c squared. Note that the right hand side is a constant. Taking differentials on both sides, we obtain c squared dm equal to v squared dm plus mv dv, equation 2. Comparing equation 1 and 2, we see that dEk is equal to c squared dm. The equation dEk equals c squared dm can be interpreted as follows. That is, an increase or change in kinetic energy is directly proportional to an increase or change in the mass of the body. When the body was at rest, its velocity is 0 and hence its kinetic energy is 0 and its mass is m0. When the body obtains or gains and has a velocity v, its mass becomes m and its kinetic becomes ek, say. Thus, we may integrate the equation as integral 0 to ek dek equals integral m0 to m c squared dm. Integrating both sides and applying the limits, we obtain ek equals mc squared minus m0 c squared. This equation basically is the relativistic formula for the kinetic energy of the body. The equation indicates that the kinetic energy is the influence of the increase in the body's mass. We may express the equation in words as the kinetic energy gained by the body equals total energy or total final energy minus total initial energy. It's important now to realize that we interpret mc squared as the total energy of the body. When it is at rest, its kinetic energy is 0. Nevertheless, it will still possess an energy m0 c squared. Accordingly, m0 c squared is called the rest energy. Thus, we may write Ek or kinetic energy equals the total energy E minus the rest mass energy m0 c squared. Or rearranging the equations, we may write total energy E is equal to the kinetic energy Ek plus the rest mass energy m0 c squared. Thus, if an object is moving with a velocity v, its total energy is E equal to mc squared, which is equal to m0 c squared divided by root of 1 minus v squared by c squared. Now, we can easily show that the expression for kinetic energy will reduce to the classical expression half m0 v squared for the speed v very much less than c. We just do it in two steps. Recall the equation for Ek as Ek equal to mc squared minus m0 c squared. Substituting for m as m0 divided by root of 1 minus v squared by c squared times c squared and taking m0 c squared common, we get Ek equal to m0 c squared times 1 minus v squared by c squared to the power minus half minus 1. Now, since v is very much less than c, we can expand 1 minus v squared by c squared to the power of minus half by binomial expansion and retain only the first two terms and ignore the higher powers of v squared by c squared. Thus, we obtain Ek equal to m naught c squared times 1 plus v squared by 2 c squared minus 1, which is approximately half m naught v squared, which is nothing but the classical expression for the kinetic energy. Note here, we have not written in the equation half m naught v squared as half mv squared, because we assume m to be independent of the speed in classical physics. In this slide, we describe the variation of kinetic energy with speed of the body graphically. We note that at low speeds, the relativistic and classical formulas for kinetic energy will give the same result. But at speeds approaching the speed of light, the relativistic formula increases much more rapidly, and we also note that a body needs infinite kinetic energy to travel at the speed c, whereas according to classical mechanics, it would need only half its rest mass energy to move at the speed of light. In this slide, I would like to talk about the significance of the mass-energy equivalence. According to relativistic mechanics, energy and mass are not independent entities. Hence, we now have a single conservation law, that is the law of conservation of mass energy, as it were. This means that mass can be destroyed or created, but when this happens, an equivalent amount of energy simultaneously will come into being or will be created or vanishes, as the case may be, and vice versa. Hence, mass is now considered to be a form of energy. The conversion factor between unit of mass kilogram and unit of energy joule in SI system is c squared. Thus, 1 kg of matter is equivalent to E equal to 1 kg times 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second whole squared, which is 9 into 10 to the power of 16 joule. Pair production, annihilation, nuclear fission, nuclear fusion are some examples of interconversion of mass and energy, which we will see in the problem section in the next. Can a particle exist which has no rest mass, but nevertheless exhibits particle-like properties such as momentum and energy? In order to understand this, let's see the following. According to classical physics, of course, this is not possible. But now let's consider the total energy of a particle according to special theory of relativity. That is, E equal to mc squared or E equal to m naught c squared divided by square root of 1 minus v squared by c squared. And the relativistic momentum therefore would be P equal to mv, which is m naught v divided by square root of 1 minus v squared by c. Let's consider the expression for energy and momentum relativistically. Clearly, we see that when m0 is equal to 0 and when v is very much less than c or less than c, both E and P are 0. That is, a particle with 0 rest mass will have no energy and no momentum when its speed is less than c. This is straightforward. However, if the speed v equals c, that means the speed of light, then we obtain E is equal to 0 by 0 and P is also equal to 0 by 0 if the rest mass is 0. This means energy and momentum can have any finite value for a particle of 0 rest mass if it is moving at the speed of light. Thus, the equations of special theory of relativity are consistent with the existence of massless particles that possess energy and momentum provided they travel at the speed of light, that is c. Photon is a classic example of such a particle. Now let's consider the following. As m0 tends to 0 and as v tends to c, then we note that m0 divided by root of 1 minus v squared by c squared will be equal to a constant k. Thus we have m is equal to a constant k, p is equal to k times c and E is equal to k c squared. This constant k can be obtained as follows. Consider the photon E is equal to h nu. Thus k c squared is equal to h nu or k is equal to h nu by c squared. Hence, for a photon we may write its mass m to be equal to h nu by c squared, which is k. And its momentum p, which is k times c, can be written as h nu by c. And its energy E is nothing but h nu. With that, we come to the end of this video number 7, where we derived the expression for the relativistic kinetic energy as well as the famous equation energy E equal to mc squared. I hope that you have enjoyed taking this course on special theory of relativity as much as I enjoyed giving it. In the last and final video, we will look at how to tackle certain problems on the various aspects of special theory of relativity that we discussed in these 7 videos. Thank you very much for patiently viewing these videos, and I really hope that you have benefited from it. I would once again like to acknowledge Robert Resnick for his wonderful book on the special relativity titled Introduction to Special Relativity, Wiley Student Edition 2014, which I would urge all of you to refer.